Hello students. So students, in the previous class we had completed the chapter that is metals and non-metals, and we have seen all the different properties of the metals and the non-metals, including that of the chemical properties and that of the physical properties. We have also compared the metals and non-metals on the basis of their properties. And in the last class we have seen that how metals are extracted, means how can we get metal, and means what is the process by which we can remove the impurities which is attached with that of the metals. So that process is known as a metallurgy. Okay, so metallurgy is the process of extracting metal from its ore by removing its impurities. That is known as the metallurgy. Now, if we look at the other things, so we have also seen alloys. What is the alloys? Simply you say that when the metal and a non-metal they combine together, then there is a formation of an alloy. Or when two metals they combine together, then they also form the alloy. So either two metals they combine together to form alloy, or one metal and one non-metal they combine together to form alloy. And alloy, they are having better property as compared to the metal or as compared to that of the non-metal. Okay, so that is what? That is the alloys. So we have seen all these different kind of properties and the topics which is related to that of the metals and non-metals. Now moving on and start a new chapter, and that is chapter 5th, coal and petroleum. You see student, before we go further and try to understand the coal, types of coal, what it is used for, what is property, petroleum, how do we obtain and all, we should know here that this coal and petroleum we obtain from the nature. So first of all, you see that our nature used to provide a lot of a lot of resources are there which is obtained from that of the nature. So nature has provided air to breathe, provided light so that we can see, it provided oxygen that is present in the air, water is there, students, land or soil is there. So these all are what? These are the basic necessity which is important for the survival of a living organism. So we will say that these all things that we obtain, that we use for survival of a life, and we obtain from the nature, that is known as a natural resources. Resource is what that we going to use, that is resource. And since we are obtaining these resources from nature, so we will use the term that is natural resources. Okay, so the resources that we get from the nature is called a natural resources. So let us write it the first thing, that natural resources. And these resources, students, you see, it is present in all the three states of our matter, whether we will say liquid, gases or solid. Gases, students, all the different kind of air present in the atmosphere is important, including the nitrogen, carbon dioxide, even oxygen, which is very much important. If we talk about the liquid, water is the best one that we can say, that which is highly important for us for a survival of any of the living organism. Without water nobody can survive. And if we talk about solid, so metals are there, rocks are there, sand is there, mountains are there. You know that we all are dependent on such kind of a thing. The rocks will get converted into the soil, and soil is important for the growth of the plant. So ultimately, directly or indirectly, we are dependent on these resources provided by the nature. So we can define the natural resources is the resources that we obtained from nature is called as natural resources. Okay, so the resources that is provided, that is given by the nature to us, that is known as the natural resources. And these are in the form of solid, liquid, gases and energy. Okay, solid, liquid, gases and in the form of energy. Okay, now the natural resources that we use, either it is used directly or at first it get converted into some other kind so that we are able to consume it. Overall, what I mean that directly or indirectly we are dependent on nature, since the nature provide the necessary thing, the essential thing which is important for the survival of any of the living organism. So this is all about that of the natural resources. Now is the resources that is available for us, is the availability varies. It means with that what is the amount, means okay, resources are there, so it is that the resources are a lot or very much that we can use it whenever we want it, or the amount is less. So depending upon the availability of these natural resources, we have classified the natural resources into two types, and that is exhaustible resources and inexhaustible resources. Exhaust means water which get consumed in easily. Okay, and inexhaustible which do not get consumed. Means consume means it get end or it will get finished. Okay, so depending upon the availability, we have classified into two types, two categories. Depending on the availability, natural resources are classified, it is classified into two categories, the first one is inexhaustible natural resource. Inexhaustible natural resource. And the second one is exhaustible natural resources. Exhaustible natural resource. Inexhaustible natural resources and exhaustible natural resources. Now you see, student, I told you that inexhaustible, it means never ending, which is present in a large amount. That is the inexhaustible. So how it will be present in a large amount? So such kind of a resources will be what? It will be renewable. Means you can renew it. You can use it again and again. And that is why it is an inexhaustible. Like if you say, students, solar energy. So solar is what? That the energy that we get from the sun. So such kind of energy is what? It is inexhaustible, because that source is provided by that is the source of the energy provided by the sun. So the energy is in a large amount, is continuously given by the sun. So that is the inexhaustible. Now not only this, students, a lot of resources are there that can be reused. It will not going to end, means it can be reused again and again. So that is also, we use another term for the inexhaustible natural resources as renewable natural resources. Okay. So first of all, we will write about the inexhaustible natural resources. Inexhaustible natural resources, those resources which are available in unlimited quantity, okay, which is present in unlimited quantity in nature and do not get exhausted. Okay, and do not get exhausted or depleted. Inexhaustible natural resources are also called as a renewable natural resources. Renewable. Okay. Inexhaustible natural resources are also called as renewable resources or natural resources. Okay, or simply we will call them renewable resources, which can be renewed. The term came from renew, means which can be renewed, which can be used again and again. Okay, resources. So this is what this was about, that of the inexhaustible natural resources. The examples are, students, what are the resources available for us that we can use again and again. So air is present in an unlimited quantity. Water is also present in an unlimited quantity. Sunlight is present in an unlimited quantity. Okay, although these can be polluted. Okay, so but it is present in an unlimited quantity. We are using the pollutant and we are disturbing it, that is another thing. But the quantity is unlimited. So if we use it wisely, we can use it for a longer period of our time. Okay, so inexhaustible natural resources present in an unlimited quantity, and that is why it will not going to exhaust very easily, very soon, and since they do not get exhausted, why? Because we can reuse it again, and that is why we use another term for it, that is renewable resources. And the kind of resources which is available for us on a large amount, that is called as air, water and sunlight. Is that clear? Now, let us move on and see that what about the next natural resource, which is also called as a exhaustible natural resources. Next one is inexhaustible natural resource, students, the name itself explaining, it get exhausted, and that is why the term is given exhaustible. It means that these kind of resources are present in nature in a limited quantity. Okay, and it will get exhausted in future. And since we cannot use it, once it is used, it is used. you cannot renew it, you cannot use it again. And since the resource that you cannot reuse again, such kind of a resource is called is also known as non-renewable resources. So either you will call it as a exhausted natural resources, or we can say, or exhaustible natural resources, or we can say that of the non-renewable resources. Okay, so since present in a limited quantity, that is why we cannot use it again and again. So these are the resources which are available in a limited quantity. Present in a limited quantity in nature, and it will get exhausted. It will get exhausted, and the reason is that why it will get exhausted, because of the excessive and continuous use of, you can say. Okay, so excessive and continuous use of natural resources, or these resources, you can say. Okay, use by human activities. You can write that one also, that was also correct, but in a simple way we can also say that due to the continuous use of these resources by the human activities, one day these natural resources will get exhausted. So present in a limited quantity, and if an object is there, if a substance is there which is already present in a limited quantity and you are using continuously, you are using in an excessive amount, so ultimately its amount will slowly become less and less, and finally it will be finished. The same thing here with that of the exhaustible natural resources. Already it is present in the atmosphere, already it is present in the nature in a limited quantity, and the human, they are using it continuously, they are using it in a excessive manner, excessive amount of it is used by them for the different purpose, for different human activities, and thus the one day they will get exhausted. And since they get exhausted, that is why we use the term for it, that is exhaustible natural resources. Okay, it is also called as the non-renewable resources. Okay, it is also called as a non-renewable resources. What are the examples, student? A lot of example. Forest. Forest is what? Plants. Forest. They are the nature only. They have these resources are provided by the nature. So the first one is the forest. Second one is, student, coal. So coal we obtain from the earth crust. So coal is there. Then petroleum, that we also obtain from the from that of the nature itself. So we will call the petroleum. Then minerals. You see that all the different kind of metals and non-metals we obtain from the nature. So minerals also obtained by the nature. Natural gas. is also obtained through that of the, when we obtain the petroleum, at that time only we obtain the natural gas also. So all these things are what? These we obtain from the nature, and their quantity is less, their amount is less. So we will say that they are present in a limited amount. So we should use it wisely if suppose we want to use it for a longer period of a time. So this was about the exhaustible and inexhaustible natural resources. Whenever there is a difference asked between the exhaustible and inexhaustible, you will always write exhaustible natural resources are those which get exhausted in a few years, or you can say in very quickly, you can say, okay, in a period of a time, and it is present in a limited quantity, and that is why it get exhausted. Inexhaustible are the natural resources which are present in a large quantity, and they will not going to exhaust it, as well as we can use it again and again, and that is why the name we can also say for inexhaustible is a renewable resources. Here, since the amount is less, so we cannot use it again and again. Because of that only the amount is less. Okay, since we cannot use it again and again, so the amount is less here. So we will say that this is what? This is a non-renewable resources. Okay, so this was about the exhaustible and inexhaustible resources. Now moving on and see the term, and that is fossils. Fossils. Fossils, students. See what happened here. In case of the fossils, there are large number of plants and the animals in a million years ago. Before that, they used to die. They get died. The reason can be anything. It can be a natural calamity also, and these died animals or the plants, they get buried under the rocks. Okay, and they get buried under the rocks, and finally after they get buried under the rocks, after million years they get converted into the fossils. So fossils are nothing but they are the dead plants and the animals which get buried million years ago, and the reason can be anything. It can be a natural calamities also. Okay, so the process that you think that okay, they get buried under the rock, so they get converted. This process means gradually the process of the conversion of the dead plant and the animal into the fossils occur. It means it takes a million of years to conversion of these dead plant and animal into the fossils. So fossils are the remains of the plant and animal which got buried over a million years ago. Okay, so we can write it that the first thing, let me write it that million years ago the plants and animals got buried under the surface of earth. The surface of earth due to natural calamities like earthquake, volcanic eruption, etc. Okay, it can be anything. So on the basis of that we can define the fossils. That is, fossils are the, and we can also etc. and get converted into fossils. are the remains of those living organisms found buried under the earth. Okay, so this is the definition of the fossils. So whenever a question is asked that what do you understand by fossils, you will always write that fossils are the remains of the living organism which get buried over 1,000,000 years ago. Okay, so due to the natural calamities, they get converted into the fossils. Now with the fossil, there is another term, student, that is fossil fuels. Fuel is what? That we can use to burn something. That is a fuel. Okay. Next one is the fossil fuels. It means those fossils that we can use as a fuel. That is fossil fuels. And here also, do not get confused because the process is the same, that how the fossil fuel is formed of. So the same by the decomposition of the plants and the animals which get buried under the rocks, and due to high temperature and pressure in the absence of air, they get converted into the fossil fuels. Now, fossil fuels generally consisting of a high percentage of a carbon content which we can use as a fuel, and that is why, since these fossils are used as a fuel, we use a term for it that is called as a fossil fuel. Let me write it that what is a fossil fuels, and then we will move on. You see, so formed as a result of decomposition of fossils, how? Due to high temperature pressure, high temperature and pressure in the absence of air or in the lack of air, and lack of air. Okay, and this whole process occurs inside the earth. The fossil fuels contains high percentage of carbon. High percentage of carbon and compounds of carbon. Example, students, so coal, petroleum, natural gas, these all are the different examples. Okay, so these all are the different examples. So we can say that basically the fossil fuels are formed as a result of the decomposition of fossils due to high temperature and pressure. So because of the high temperature and pressure, and this whole process occur in the absence of the air inside that of the earth, and thus what happened, again this process will also take a million years to be formed. So the fossils, they get decomposed due to the lack of temperature, due to the lack of air and a high temperature and pressure, make it to get converted into a fuel, and this fuel which is formed here, it consisting of a high percentage of a carbon. Example, coal, petroleum, natural gas. These all are the examples of the fossils fuel that we use for different purpose. Okay.